Man, hold up. It's your boy DJ K Jizzle.
And your boy Papa Charlie.
Say, man, it's going down. It's called Chroncles, baby. You know what I'm saying? How was your day, bro?
Man, it was good, man. Blessed day every day, you know what I'm saying? Shit, it's all good. How was
Already.
yours?
Man, blessed. Always good to see family and everything, man. Blessed. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's up.
Uh,
That's what's up.
yeah, man, we got a busy week, man. I mean, next week, we got an interview, which I gotta get you the information on two people. Well, sisters, they gonna come on. We gonna interview them. And then after that, we got a Tony coming in, and we got a
Okay.
discussion that we gonna talk about. And yeah, it's going
Yeah.
down, man. Y'all need to stay tuned, man. We got a lot of stuff in the pop off. I got some other interviews coming in, so say it's going down. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, we gonna jump on into this Miss Carla Fears. Say, man, it was a great interview. I feel like a lot of people did not really watch it and really pay attention. Man, she really helped me on another way of reaching out to my kids and stuff like that. So, and then hearing her story was just dope. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
man, let's get into this real quick. Let me pull this up, Miss Fierce, and we'll get out y'all way and let y'all check this out. Like I said, this is a good interview. Y'all should really watch this. Check out the reels that's coming. But yeah, check this out. Let me turn it on. Further ado, I want to say I'm bringing on. Welcome to the show, Carla Fierce. I want to make right. Oh,
Yeah.
that was my fault. You didn't remind me.
Right.
It's a tradition that we do.
Go.
I'm sorry.
All right.
We gonna jump out the way and let y'all have it. Yes. So, without no further, hold on. Okay, just making sure I was good.
What just
Without no further
I don't know what happened, y'all.
ado, I let me say this. I will say this. I have been looking at
What
the page
happened?
and
There we go.
for coming on the show.
Definitely.
I thank you for coming on here because I feel like this is gonna help us bridge a gap between us as younger adults to help us also understand things in life and raising our own kids.
Yes. Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. Could you tell our people a little bit about yourself?
Okay, well, I was born and raised here in Texas, and of course, by the way of the Army, my husband was in the Army for almost 25 years, and so we left the country for about 12 of those years and lived in Germany and California, and then was able to come back to Texas after that, and so just the military life. And then we came here to Killeen and just to settle and to be
Oh,
close to family, which I have family in Dallas area.
H.
Everyone used to live out in West Texas, the Lubbock area and all that, where we went to school and stuff. And then my grandparents, when they passed away, and my grandfather was the last one to pass, then my family just really started migrating to the Dallas area. I had left Lubbock actually and went to the Dallas area and ended up meeting my husband while there. And then we left, and while we were going to Germany, everybody moved up that way. So I have 4 children, 2 grown and gone. I have 2 girls here at home. I have a senior in high school. My other daughter's also an entrepreneur, and she started her business at 16 and everything. So, and then my son, he lives up in Dallas. My other son he's gone, and so it's just been a place where the homestead. I actually started working civil service almost 15 years, a little shy of 15 years for the civil service. And then when my husband retired, I always wanted to teach school, but because we were gone so long and moving around, I thought it best to wait until we were settled. And so I was like, man, he started truck driving and loving it. And I was like, can I do something I want to do? He's like, what is that? And I always loved to work with children, whether it was in Sunday school or, youth, or just stopping kids in the grocery store, or my kids' own friends, coming over. And we had a lot of kids in and out of this door, especially when my husband was deployed a couple of times, because he said, hey, if I get you closer to home, I'm going to be gone. And so that's how we ended up here, and then just getting involved with the kids and getting involved with people in the community and being involved with their schools. And then I started teaching and really learning alongside some of the same teachers that taught my kids. So that was pretty neat.
Wow.
Yeah.
He answered one of my questions right there. See that? So teacher. Okay, so can you tell me how has your experience as a parent and entrepreneur influenced your approach as a school teacher?
Okay. Well, I think I've always had a side hustle, no matter where we were in Germany. Even before I met my husband, I was always doing something to make money on the side. I think that was probably my first calling. I come from a family of entrepreneurs and businesswomen, and a little different. The I do a lot of growth mindset in my classroom. I think that growth mindset also has to carry over, because if you're an entrepreneur or person, a business person, or period, if you're ambitious and you're going after things that may not be that obtainable, or it's obtainable only through really hard work and perseverance, I think that um, you have to have that mindset and that mentality, the same way we tell our children and the children at school that I teach that you can do anything that if you put your mind to it. And I think it goes even deeper than that you you can do anything if you change your mind to it, because a lot of times we can put our minds to things, but if we have that mindset or that mentality of negativity, talking ourselves down, not believing in ourselves, because it starts in ourselves first before we can move on and just do something of greatness. Because boy, you'll have many people tell you can't do something. My kids I'll walk by their desk, and I know they probably think this woman is crazy, but I almost want to snatch them up when I walk by the desk. I can't do it, or it's hard. What? And I just, I was like, what did you say? I can't do it yet. That's how you say that. You change your mind, you change your thinking. I can't do it yet. And so we start out those especially that first week of school, of that, with that growth mindset, them getting to know my mentality, because I'm a little bit crazy, and then them getting to know me, and just those expectations and things like that and stuff. And so every year it's different. The children that come along, different mindset, different. The generations are changing. I started teaching. This is my 8th year teaching, and I started out in secondary, and now I'm in elementary. And the elementary students that I teach are almost no different than the 6th, 7th, and 8th graders that I taught before. It's just that sometimes the way you say things or how you have to handle them is a little bit more with care and ease. I guess, because they're a little bit more sensitive. And so I think with this day and age, with everything, with everyone, we have to be so careful what we say, so careful what we do, especially in the classroom now. That sometimes, I know me, I say that to all the teachers out there. I think that educators that have faced that, I haven't faced it yet, but I'm pretty sure it's coming because of, my mouth and sometimes my attitude. But I just feel like kids are gonna get right in my classroom. They're gonna, you either do right or you don't. It's a choice. But we're not gonna disrupt my atmosphere. We're not gonna change the energy of my room. But you will learn. You can learn. I have students that are very, very low as far as academically, reading and writing and math and things like that. But I look forward to day, each and every week, just watching them grow because they can learn. Some of them just need that somebody to invest the time.
I agree.
The children need that. True.
They're
So
definitely
true.
our future.
Shout out Markel Lane. That's my dude right there.
Yes. Hey, Michael.
That's my dude right there, man. He got a lot of knowledge. I'll be trying to get at him so I can pick his brain, but
Yes.
it but yeah, you got a question because I can't hear you. You
There you go. I'm sorry. Yeah, she asked what grade did she teach, but I was going to ask the importance of teaching the entrepreneurship early. How has you seen it affect any of the students that you've seen, go past the grade? And then how has it personally affected your kids about the entrepreneurship, learning it so early and it's in the house, helping them, like you say, the ones that are outside the house and things like
Mhm. I think that I think more so um I've had students where more so with the gifts that they have as far as writing, maybe poetry,
that?
rapping. You have the kids all the time. I had a class a couple of years ago that several of the boys, all they would like to do was just beat on the table and make beats and stuff. And I didn't do it with those students, but I came up with a poem that we called it Fearless Minds. And so I put together the words and we learned it at the beginning of the year. And those guys, the same ones that were always beating on the desk with their pencils and things like that, they ended up putting a beat to it. So two of the classes made a beat to it, and one class actually made it into a song.
Oh,
And I found out the ones that could sing, the ones that could rap, the ones that could, just the beat of anything, just freestyling. And so um, poetry, we would get to poetry. I love poetry. I also do a little bit of spoken word and I write and things like that. And just having a microphone in the classroom and a speaker, just really, it may not be more so of entrepreneur per se, but it also taps into those gifts and talents that kids have. Because sometimes I think, we as educators, we want them to sit down, learn, take a test, learn, take a test, learn, take a test. But at some point, if you're building relationships with your children, you begin to see what they're good at, where their talents lie. And I have a couple in my homeroom right now that they just wrote a song one day, one afternoon, and we had some downtime, and they were working on it. Came back from lunch, they were still working on, and at the end of the day, they were like, "Can I sing it to you?" And I'm like, "Sure." It felt like they had beautiful voices. I said, "Okay,
wow.
time to dust off the microphone." So I think with the kids, when you speak to them in that way and you find out what their gifts and talents are, I think it encourages them that first of all that my teacher sees me, she hears me, and she loves me. Because I think that anytime we allow our children to whether it be in our house or in, children that we teach or influence or even mentor. They want to be heard and they want someone to know that there's something that I can do outside of the normal routine, the normal hustle and bustle. My daughter made her first wig at 16 and she made it for her birthday. And then she posted on her Instagram and everybody like, oh, I want that. So I was like, okay, well, maybe you can start making them for other people. And so she ran with that. And, it was one of those things where, she says, I want a business. I want to own a business. And then there's my other two, that just, want to, go to college. So you have to know which children do what and what they're gifted at. And I think, especially we as a society, we always want our kids to go and get that paper, and that's fine. But at the same time, don't forget about what they're gifted at. Don't forget what their passion is. And a lot of them do go to school for what they're passionate about. But some of them go to school, and then in the back of their minds, they're wishing that they could have went for what they were passionate about or do, but they want to please mom and dad and and I'm an educator saying that everybody does not have to go to college. Everybody is not college material.
Mic drop. I, I would probably agree with that. I'm just everybody learns differently, so I can understand that.
Yeah. Don't go to college and waste your parents' money. Don't go to college and party and have to be sent home. But if there's something that you can do, that you can tap in and that you can make a living for yourself, there's so many, like Steve Jobs. I mean, the creator of Apple, I think, he didn't go to college. They were working and figuring out things in their garage. So there's so many things that don't have a college education. Tyler Perry doesn't have a college education. And
That's
he owns his own movie or production studio. He bought acres of
Man,
land on
I
the
didn't
very
know.
well, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I think that also too, if we know our children and parents, don't get me wrong, don't go around saying Miss Fear said. What I'm saying is know what your children are passionate about. If the route is to college, always remind them that what they're good at, what you see, and that they know that they see you. And if they, for some reason, come back in after a year or two and say, you know what, this isn't for me, say, okay, because let them find their path and make their choice. But don't try to live your dream. Here we are, kid, we trying to make kids jump off of balance beams and flip and flop across the floor and stuff because we tried to do it and we couldn't do it. And then we want to force, and that young lady or that young man is not into that. But we're just driving them, just driving them in the van, just taking them to practice and just like, constantly hovering over them, making them want to do things and know that it's not their passion.
Yeah.
Just help them find it. Help them find it.
That is true. That's real.
I don't know if
That's
I answered the question, but
Yeah, that
well, I know this. She answered mine that I was finna hit her with one and she just cleared that up. See, I done lost track. I was finna ask the
well, I
um
can say one of my students, shout out to Marquise Collins. I have to do it. Marquise Collins was one of my students at middle school when I taught. And boy, I'm telling you, that young man, ooh, you talking about rough around the collars. He gave me a run for my money. Sometimes he made me wake up thinking, do I really want to go to this classroom today? But I must say that his dad stepped in, took him down to College Station. He already had the grades. And that's the only way really I could tap into him. He was very athletic, but he had and he don't mind me sharing it because I've shared it before. He just had a cocky attitude. The coaches couldn't stand to see him coming. I'm like, bruh, how are you going to play for somebody's team and you think, the team has an E in it, not an I. All about you. It's not all about you. Pass the ball some. And boy, he just, when the coaches finally sat him down, because he was good, but they had to sit him down for a while, you would have thought he lost his mind.
Uh,
And times, and dad had to come get him and remove him from here and take him down to College Station. I drove through on the way home. Montgomery, Texas is my home. And I would stop. And one time I stopped and I found him and took him, and another student of mine was living down there with them. Took them to dinner, and we just talked and everything. And he had, ended up getting hurt, and he's like, I mean, looking at all the schools were looking at him, but he recovered and he still kept his spot. You guys, he plays for Duke. He plays football for Duke on a scholarship.
that's awesome.
That's what's up.
But he had to change that mindset, y'all. He could not. He was not a team player at all. He just thought that he was the best. I mean, he's good, but he had to learn. Again, he had to change his mind to change his life.
You know what? You just keep answering every question. I was gonna say, can you share a memorable moment, teaching experience, and a story that landed someone a career, and you answered it?
Yeah, yeah.
But I must express the fact of that you are saying a word that I always tell people that means the most, which is mindset. Without the
Mhm.
right mindset, you will not be able to accomplish nothing.
Right.
Because it's like you're spinning your wheels and you're just sitting there.
Hmm.
You got all the right things to do the right you, and I'm basically talking about myself. I had all the right stuff, but
Hmm.
I just fell short on my choices. But that was
Hmm.
because the mindset was not right.
Hmm.
So therefore I made I made bad choices.
Right.
But I that is one thing I must say is that you keep saying mindset. No matter where we go, you keep saying that word
Hmm.
mindset. And it's
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm starting to understand.
Hmm. And I mean, it had, it has to be because our kids are growing up um, in a society now where they're seeing everything, they're hearing everything, they're doing everything. Things that I didn't even think was imaginable at my age. My mama would have beat my ass. Oh, is this censored?
We really don't, but I know what you I know what
She would have beat my butt.
you
And if she didn't do it, my grandmother would have done it. And I just think that um, with so much going on, I think that now it can be I don't know, it just comes to mind. It can be you could be such a taskmaster and guard your children to the point where you don't let them do anything. I don't think that's good either. Because when they get out there and they get a chance to do something, boy, they are going,
ah,
yes, go crazy. But at the same time, I think that you talk to your children consequently if you see them doing something or feel them do something or experiences like my kids, my daughter just yesterday on the ride home we had went, I forget where we had went, and we were talking and she was talking about the stuff going on with Israel and Palestine, and it's just so deep to hear a teenager's perspective of it all, and them being able to talk freely and to share and to learn from them. And I said, well, wow, baby, I never thought about it like that, or this and that, and just to hear them talk about different things, or going back and saying, well, mom, I remember a time when you didn't let us do this, or I couldn't do this, or you didn't take care of that, and you didn't take, and and it hurts hearing it, but at the same time, going ahead and being that parent that listens so you can learn and say, okay, baby, I'm so sorry. I did not know that that bothered you like that. I didn't realize that I was doing that or I had been doing that, and then just try to make it better, and not saying that letting your children have their way, or they don't talk to me any kind of way. That's not what I'm not saying. But sometimes during at the kitchen table or in the car ride home, you know um
I see
they
you,
just begin to
KG. I
sometimes
see you.
share things, or I may mention
Appreciate
something,
the love.
and they're like, oh, really? You feel like that now about that? Because I remember when blah blah blah. I said I did. I said that. And so sometimes they'll kind of remind me. I was like, oh wow, I didn't realize. I said, okay, well, if I did that or said that, I am so sorry. I did not, me. And same with my students. There's sometimes when I haven't been able to sleep if I got onto a student, or maybe got into their face, or yelled or raised my voice or something. And I mean, the next day I wake up, and during my quiet time and meditation, I keep thinking about that student. And all I want to do is get to school and apologize. And I tell them from the beginning, respect goes both ways. And you apologize, and sometimes they look at you like, what? And I've had a couple of them just kind of apologize, and they'll come back and you say, you know what, Miss Fears, I was wrong too. I was wrong
Mm.
too. I apologize as well. But just showing that mutual respect, and not being, because sometimes as adults we feel like, first of all, we're not wrong. We feel like we're not gonna, there's no way I'm gonna apologize to a child. Well, then what you doing at home?
Yeah.
If you're treating your children the way you treat these students, I just wonder about your kids at home.
Yeah.
Because it's gotta be, there's something that has to transfer over, you know and I think that being able to apologize when we make mistakes, I think is the biggest and best important lesson that I think we can teach any child, that we respect them. And a lot of times this generation, that's all they demand is respect. Sometimes they don't know how to give it, so then teach them. Be the example.
Mm, I like that. I like that.
Man, that's a little deep right there, man. That made me think for a second.
Mhm.
Yeah, okay.
Just
I'm
apologize for all of it. We know we were wrong. Just apologize. Because you're thinking about some stuff right now.
Yep.
You probably need to apologize.
Yep.
You got me over here dying laughing too. That's wrong. That
Right.
is wrong. Okay, see, we need to get off of that one. We need to go to something else. Let me find
She was
something
getting
else. Um, yeah, I just went blank. You didn't have to do me like that. Okay, but I I'm confused because the way I look at things, and I'm just being honest. I look at it as when I was coming up, see you main one. I really did. I thought my parents was really, really strict. I thought they were just, man, Rob, you know what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
Like really, really strict.
Mhm.
And I look at when I was growing up, what I said was, I will never, ever, ever treat my kids the way that I got treated. But I noticed now that what they did to me built character.
Mhm.
It taught me morals. It taught me how to respect another person, because you have to understand your parents were to me, this is just me, your parents were the first people to teach you this is my house. You
Mhm.
abide by my rules. What's up in there? So,
Mhm.
in other words, they're letting you know no matter where you go in life, there's going to be a dictator somewhere, a cop. It's somebody over you that can tell you what to do.
Yeah.
And I feel like that is where our generation went wrong was we were trying to, man, I'll never do my kids the way my mama did me. Man, my dad, they wouldn't let me. And then not realizing until later on your child is just gone.
Yeah.
And that's just how I feel, because I said that myself, but I treat my kids like my mom and them treated me. And I mean, but I will say this. I I believe in what you did say though. I will apologize if I am wrong.
Yeah, me
I
too.
will stop as soon as I realize, and I will go back to anybody. I'm learning that I have learned that is the best relief. Like it's like a burden. Like, okay, at least I know I did try to apologize to this person. But
Yeah.
I do really I agree with you, and I really just feel like we messed up. Us as young adults with kids, if we would have started doing our kids like y'all done us, I feel like we wouldn't go through this.
Yeah. And I really see as an educator that it has to start at home. And I'm seeing that the way, little Susie or little Johnny, I hate to say little Johnny because I had a student named Johnny. So when I found that couldn't refer to, we couldn't, but when you little Susie and little Johnny come to school and throw temper tantrums, and you have to call home, and and they come to school the next day with $130 pair of shoes on, and they come just back to school the next day. I said, "What'd your mom say about the?" "Oh, nothing." I said, "They didn't talk to you about what we talked about yesterday? Did they get my email?" "Oh, I don't think so. I don't know." "So they didn't say anything about you cussing me out yesterday?"
What?
"Oh, no.
Well,
She'll probably call you." And then they just step in. I'm just using that as an example because
oh, because I was just saying, I love my job. I
I
was
wish they
like,
would. I wish they would cuss me out, but we've gotten close. We've gotten close, but no. But I'm just. And then the parent shows up at the school acting the same way.
oh wow.
Association breeds assimilation, whether you give birth to folks or not. The people that you hang around is who you're going to act like. And these kids bring a lot of that. It is hard being a teacher. I had a podcast last night. I was interviewed last night for on the real estate side, and someone the guy said that you should be making more money than everybody up in here with the position you that you have. And I said, yeah, they just holding my check, they holding the millions back. But I'm telling you, teaching is hard, and nothing in the world. Teachers are walking away every single day. There is no amount of money that's going to allow people, human people, to put up with the stuff that they've been put up. Because if you're not putting up with it from your kids, you're putting it up with from your coworkers. If you're not putting up with it from your coworkers, you're putting up with it from administration, and
Yep.
then anybody above them. And because it's all about performance, it's about numbers, it's about testing, it's about data. And thank you, Miss Gibson. Yes, we do. We were stats. I think last week I was the nurse, I was the psychologist, I was the police officer.
Oh,
I was a truant officer because I was looking for a student who hadn't been coming to school. I was
what?
the social worker. I was the caregiver. I was the mediator.
Mm.
Did I forget the rest of the week, baby? I had to order me some whistles. I was the referee. Yeah.
Wow.
So I think that was about 8 or 9 hats right there, and I didn't even say educator.
I'm gonna say you.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but guys, I love it every single day. I haven't gotten to where I hadn't woken up and not loved it yet. Something about it, but I do know that I'm supposed to be doing it. And I teach in a district in a demographics where I know that everybody doesn't want to teach there, and not everybody can teach there. and people aren't really willing to do the work, because there are times when I turn on the TV and I see some of my students in handcuffs, or I see their mugshots, or it's been a few years, but it gets scary when I read, like this morning I woke up, there was a shooting here, and sometimes I'm scared to read the news because those students that I taught 8 years, they graduated in May. So they're of age, they're 17, 18, where they can be arrested and charged as an adult.
Mm.
And so, and it's scary. I have one right now who actually was with Marquise at the same classroom, same opportunity. And unfortunately now he's still in county jail, fighting some very heavy stuff. And and I reach out to mom, and I really try to advocate. And Mothers for Sons was birthed through my son being incarcerated at 17 years old, and my husband, guys, just contrary to popular belief, not all Black people have been arrested. Not all Black people have been to jail. Guys, we didn't know what to do because it had not hit our household. It had not been a part of our life. It had not been a part of any of our friends. And so, again, like you say, you raise your kids up, they make choices that are not good choices, and there's consequences to that. And I had just started teaching. I believe I was in my second year of teaching, and my son got arrested that summer. And just the amount of people who said negative stuff, and I tried not to go on social media and read it. My sister, we had left, and our vacation was already planned, and I ended up leaving my son. It was the hardest thing I had to do.
Kale,
And she caught me
this
that night
replay,
on the computer reading some of the comments.
this is a show
But
I'll never come back
so many
and
teachers
we can ask the question.
were in those comments, taking up for
Mm.
my son, advocating for my son, speaking out for my son. He had never been in trouble in school. He had never so much had a referral or been to the office. I think the only infraction he got was his ID card or something, his ID. Um, he just, and after so many infractions, sometimes you have to go to Saturday, what we call Saturday sack, and, do Saturday detention and stuff. And I just, he got caught up in a crowd. Um, like I said, we always had a house full of kids, but I think it got to where certain kids, certain young men, he didn't bring here, because I know he know I wouldn't approve. He didn't bring
Yeah.
here. If I saw them today out on the street, I couldn't name them. I couldn't tell you what they look like.
Yeah.
The night when they all ran off and left him to be the only one arrested, I couldn't tell you their names. Hell, some of them he couldn't tell you their names, because guys, they just hang out and they roll. This was somebody. Oh, this my money. This is so and so. But your main one or your main friend, they got friends and friends, and so guys are different from girls, and the judge didn't seem to understand that. She, said, well, he was the oldest, which he may have been, but he wasn't doing the most. It was some of the younger ones. They were already slinging, they were already on the corners, they were already doing stuff. Some of them had already robbed stores before, and so he's in the car with the one that he knows, and then he bring two or three other. So what you mean that you don't know their names? But females, I'm gonna have to lighten the air a little bit so I won't start crying. But females, baby, we know our friends' first and last name, even their middle name, their date of birth, how many boys they done dated, you know,
Yep.
their sign, their Gemini, their sign, their astrology. We know it all. But guys just don't. Am I right? Guys don't do all that.
No,
You
we
know,
don't.
Yeah.
until you're friends for a long time.
Until you get older. Because
Yeah.
when you get older, you just it should have clicked and said, "Hey, I can't do what I used to do when I was younger. Couldn't
Yeah.
have can't hang over." By then, and I'm not gonna lie, it took me. I'm 45 now, so I'm gonna say it took me about almost 40 to start really seeing. Whoa, I need to
Yeah.
change this because
Yeah.
if not, I'm going the wrong way.
Yeah.
But I actually came back and told both of my parents. I wish I would have listened. I would have saved my own self from so much heartache and pain.
Mhm. Yeah.
But I had to learn it.
Yeah. And and he just I think there's an a nonprofit that I support, Second Look, Epicenter Ministries and Second Look. And when I was really just kind of finding that support, Mothers for Sons, and I have a private Facebook group that we'll be doing a podcast or really like a webinar or whatever tomorrow on that channel. And it's amazing how the group has grown. I don't have time or make the time to really manage it like I would, but I do go in and connect, and people are constantly joining because what I realized, and you can hear it on my YouTube channel as well, and you can go back and I'll give you the link, DJ and Rob, so you guys can share that and post that because a lot of stories are on there, and especially in those first few days of really going through, and I felt like it had to be done for somebody else because number one, we did not know what to do when our child was arrested. And that's some things that I advocate for now. What do you do? Do you know what to do when your teen is arrested? Do you know the age accountability for your state? Texas is one of five, maybe four. I think another state changed it, but at the time of my son, it was five. I think it's down to four now. There were Texas and three other states are the only ones that age of accountability is 17. So
Mm.
at 17, you can't get married, you can't smoke, you can't drink, you can't. I don't. You can't buy a gun.
Yeah.
Um, you can't join the military, but you can go to prison.
Wow.
Yeah, that's that's weird.
That is-
Yeah, you can go to prison, and they don't let you talk to them because they say they are an adult. So that night, 3, 4 in the morning, we get a call from one of my son's friends and said he thinks Isaiah has been arrested. And we call every number we could think of, we call, and they didn't tell my husband anything. And they said, "Oh, finally we find out where he is." And they said, "Oh, he's 17, he's we can't talk to you, you know." And they didn't talk to my husband. So luckily, again, one of the same little boys that used to come over and hang out with my older with Isaiah, matter of fact, his son's a police, I mean his dad's police officer.
Mm.
And they had hung out in maybe elementary school, maybe junior high. But I remember where they lived because he used to go over there all the time because they had a pool and right here in the neighborhood. And I called my friend who had moved away and I said, "Girl, what street did they live on?" I said, "I think I'm on the street, but I can't remember the house." And so I'm out sitting outside of the house that I think that it is. And I'm talking to her on the phone and I'm looking around and she said, "I think you're at the right house. What's the address?" And blah, blah. And I told her. And so I go up and I knock on the door. Do you know that man answered the phone or answered the door with his gun?
Oh.
First of all, it's 6 in the morning.
Mhm.
The sun had just come up. I didn't know where else to go. I didn't know what to do. He saw me driving up and down, and then he saw me sitting in front of the house. So of course, quite naturally, instinct. So when he opened the door, he had his gun down at his side, and then he looked and he said, "Tell me it's not true." When he saw me and realized who I was, a couple hours earlier, that 4 morning, 3, 4 in the morning, he saw his name come out on the blotter report
Mhm.
Mm.
or on his radio or whatever they get. When he seen my baby's name, he said, he said, "I just kept telling myself, no, it's not. It's a different kid. It's a different kid." But our name, you know, our name is not common at all. And so he came out on the front porch and he made some phone calls. And he said, "Hey, I need this family to be able to see their son, talk to him, find out what's going on, tell me what's going on." And so he had the guy on speaker, his buddy, and they called around until they told me where they were. And I left, and I knew where to go. We knew where to go after that, and everything. And we were just devastated, scared, disappointed, bewildered, confused. I mean, every emotion you could think of. And it was the scariest thing. And looking back now, it's been almost, well, it's almost 6 years. Looking back at it now, I didn't know how I was going to survive. I didn't know how I was going to make it. But I started thinking about later on as Mothers for Sons became involved in nonprofit, and I got the book. I mean, everybody's wanting to charge an arm and a leg. I didn't have the money to do it, so I ordered a book from the lawyers that produce the books on nonprofit and stuff, and I sat down, and it took me probably almost a year, not quite a year. I wrote I wrote the articles, and I put everything together myself from just the book and Googling and YouTube and just trying to figure, and it still costs $800 to file it, but I could not pay anybody 1,600, 2,000, 20. Somebody was charging $2,500 to put together your nonprofit, and I just could not. And again, I ran across, I'm telling you, if when you're in situations, just stay aware, keep your head up, because people started coming into my path to help me and to help us. And there's a school here, academy here. They had done their nonprofit. She let me borrow their paperwork and bring it home and go through it page by page just to see that I was doing it correctly, because I started Googling. Do you know that there are support groups, millions of them, for children whose parents are incarcerated? But I think I may have found a handful of organizations that are for parents who have children incarcerated.
Mm.
There was nothing at all. And so that's how Mothers for Sons was born. And my husband actually, just in passing, something was going on with Isaiah, and we were, I don't know, with the lawyer or so whatever we were doing, and I was just fretting. I was fretting, and I was like, "I'm sorry, babe." I said, I am like losing it." He said, "Well, you know how mothers are for their sons." And so that's how I ended up with the name Mothers for Sons. And yes, we are some type of way about our babies, especially our boys. But I think that for my son just to go through what he's gone through, woo, you're gonna have to interview him when he comes home.
Definitely.
He'll be home soon. You're gonna have to interview him when he comes home, because I'm telling you. Oh, and what I was gonna say about the lady at Epicenter Ministries, Second Look, they go and they advocate for kids who were arrested and tried as adults as 12, 13, 14-year olds, because those exist too. And they actually go to prison, like big folks prison, at 14, 15, depending on the crime. So when they're certified adults, they will go in with adults.
That's
And
cool.
my son was 17, and they had a YOP at the first unit he was at, and they shut it down because of some stuff that was going on there. But he was able to get his GED, and get this, he was 4 months. He was 4 months, so he left in December. May, he was 4 months from graduating his senior year. He was a
Wow.
senior, and so he got finished his GED while in YOP, and some other programs that they need to finish. And she told me this. She said, "The way you talk about your son and some of the letters that I would share and the things that he would write, he never ever blamed anybody else for his situation.
Mm.
She said the ones that go through incarceration the best are the ones who take ownership and responsibility for their actions. But the ones that are constantly blaming everybody else, it wasn't my fault, and that now don't mind you, there are a lot of people, a lot of people, men especially of color, sitting in prison who did not commit any crime. And we find out 20, 30, 40 years later after they've already served. So there are some that will tell you that they weren't there, they didn't do it. But my son was there. He did participate, and he'll tell you he did. And he'll tell you it's the most stupidest thing he ever did. But he has gone through this process with other young men, getting on the phone and telling me. One called me the other day and he said, Mama, thank you for the phone number for the lawyer that you sent. I gave it to my mama and she looked into it. And there's some stuff that's jacked up with my paperwork. It wasn't supposed to be like that. And the lawyer's looking into it. And I should be able to go home next year. And he said, I don't know why Isaiah's here, but he said, maybe he's here for me. He said, because I'm telling you, he said, the wisdom and the things that he said, man, he keeps me out of trouble. He said, he talks to me. He tells me things.
Man.
He said, he got an old soul, mama. He got an old soul. And I said, yeah, he does. He has an old soul. Because sometimes he'll call me and get on the stuff, get on to me about stuff. I start complaining about stuff. He said, now, mama, when did you start caring about that? When did you start? And so, and I know I'm talking, I know y'all had questions or whatever, but I just, I just want to say that's probably one of the hardest things besides losing a child
Man.
is a child that's incarcerated. It's hard. And there's nobody really to talk to about it. Nobody gets it. There's a few people in my circle and people that I teach with that may or may not know. I don't care and they don't ask. And there are a couple of really good colleagues of mine that every now they'll pull me aside and they say, I just want to let you know I'm praying. Or I may see some of his teachers, and they will always ask about him, and when some maybe give me money to put on his books, and so it's just because I
Man. Say, y'all gotta go and watch this, the rest of it, because it gets really emotional. Like, it was very, very interesting. And to hear all of the things that she's going through and doing a nonprofit, you know, it was just amazing, man. Um, but say y'all want to see the rest of it, you got to go to Truth Be Told. It's in the description. Go like, go subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you look out for the t-shirts. They coming. I'm getting the site together now. Say it's going down. We got a lot of stuff coming up. Shows. Uh Shout out to Kevin Green and Maine Ernest and Wanda 21 H and my girl Latifah Williams. What's good? Say, man, appreciate y'all tuning in. Next week we're gonna have Miss Rashida. I'm I don't know the name of they I can't remember the podcast. Let me see. I got it right here on my phone. Uh Her name is Rashida. I don't know her sister name, but I got the flyer coming. And the name of their podcast is Love It or Leave It. Love It or Leave It. Hold on. Chi Chi and Rashida. That's that. Chi Chi and Rashida. That I'm serious. Y'all probably think I'm playing. But Rashida be on TikTok on Coach G. That's how I found out. So yeah.
You love it, leave
uh but yeah, man, you got something to say before we get up out of here, man?
it. Man, I agree with what she was talking about in the podcast, man. Anything you put your mind to, you can do it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever your mindset is, man, just don't let nothing change it, man. Whatever you put your mind to, you can do it. Anything is possible, man. As long as you stay focused.
Facts. Already. So say, like I say, man, number love, y'all get your mindset right. Hey, get with us. It's going down. Call Chronicles. Say we up in here, baby. Hold up.
Yes,
It's your
sir.